And this is where things have changed again for TSM, right? Going no sentinels on this map. They have a breach at least with Cutler playing as that breach. But what actually you could see that allows for more explosiveness, and that's flashes. Trying to go for this mid control very, very fast, but it's been held out very well by FaZe Clan to start things off from paint shells being thrown by Corey. But now they go through the ropes. They're going to try to move in towards the A side, but it's currently being denied by ZachaREEE. Traded off by Drone at the same time, though, as the spike now picked up by Wardell. It's Marved with 2, but then Hazed retaliates. Cannot go for the third kill with the burst of the classic. That leads to Subroza. The lurker was able to push in towards screens. But as the smoke dissipates, he's going to get spotted. Trying to go for any kills that he can. Connects with the first.
It's been that way for the entirety of its creation and inception. Marv picking off Hazed. Early start to the round as they again start to work towards B heaven. They're going to be fighting against 2 players waiting as babybay uses the satchel to get away, the blast pack with the paint shells as well. But Drone has picked off babybay. That's going to give them at least something to work with. Rawkus is in a tough spot, has to fight in multiple directions, gets dropped by Subroza, who hits a beautiful shot out of the Sheriff. Now Wardell's got one. He comes right through and gets ripped apart as the burst shot comes in.
Where it's seldomly played passively by FaZe Clan, but because they have these submachine guns, they have to push up a little bit more. So you have this player playing towards the rope. You have him pushing out towards the male side as well, but Drone is trying to keep things alive, but it's going to be the run it back from FaZe. They're traded off, and the information as well that it's open. They're trying to rush into B now, and Rawkus has to hold his ground.
Rawkus back sight. Doesn't really get an opportunity. Wardell gets dropped by Marv, though, who's having a standout performance here in the first buy round. 3 kills already as he gets around Pillar. Hazed there with the pickoff, has to be careful, knows where this final player might be, and Hazed finds the 3K. 2 HP surviving, coming out, but there's no one in that position. They do use run it back to get into the site and to go ahead and get that spike plant as well, and Drone will be able to secure it. No, he couldn't get it. He couldn't actually get it. So that almost cost them a little bit more than it should have, but realistically speaking, you know, the equipment and utility for FaZe is not what it needs to be to punish for that. So it will be a 4-on-2, and the spike this time is secured.
So ZachaREEE at this point just looking for any type of picks that he could get. And the fault line's going to come through. These last 2 guys only have pistols to work with. And ZachaREEE, we talked about him, the sheriff in town, continues to pop heads with that pistol. And now that they salvage a weapon, that clock is ticking down, but technically with the positions that you have here from TSM, it should be an easy take. But ZachaREEE still manages to get 1 for his trouble. For TSM, a 1-minute advantage as FaZe trying to fight it back. They put the trap wire to watch the flanks so they could really focus on the B side into B. But TSM, look at them. They're not pushing forward. They're, well, with the exception of Subroza, just to try to get the first information. The flank there from Wardell does not commit as he whisks a couple of shots. But Drone still holds his ground towards the back of the site. Big crossfire set up.
And TSM is playing this kind of slow, but that's a big kill. They needed that one on site, and now they can focus back in the other direction, and it makes it a little bit harder for them. babybay does use the showstopper to send a rocket into the site, but taken out by his raised counterpart.
And you're in a position for FaZe now. Do you want to try to save what you have? You already have babybay committed down towards the hell side. And he gets the first one onto Subroza. This is huge for them for the retake.
I like the way that babybay is using those blast packs to just change position. The flashes coming in, definitely making it a little bit harder. As they try and go for this retake, it's looking promising.
Yes.
They've got themselves in a 2-on-3. That's the pickoff from Wardell. They try to go back and spot the spike, but they're not able to. There's a flash coming out, and it's all on to Hazed.
They also had to use 2 of their ultimates for the retake too, the neural theft and the run it back. And even at this round, Corey, we thought it was going to be the kill and the clutch that allows him to come back into this game, but unfortunately gets denied early by an entry by Wardell. But Marved and babybay are still planting their feet on the ground towards the A side. Marv continuing to dance around the sites like he does on both ends.
It's passed right through him. As he moves into position, though, the cyber cage is down, but ZachaREEE doesn't even need it and gives more of an advantage here for FaZe, who's starting to solidify on the defense. Now, Wardell and Hazed start to fight back and start to find some opportunities here. The spike is pretty far away from that A site where we've found some headway made by Hazed. Wardell has to go cross-map to try to make that happen, and I just don't think it's realistic.
No.
So Wardell's actually going to head towards B, and Hazed is going to try and fight his way towards that direction.
And that's it, because Hazed got that first kill. He's putting all those smokes towards the A side. He's trying to force a rotation. But look at ZachaREEE. He's still holding his ground towards heaven. It's a fake plant. Now he's going to peek out. It's over. Well, he's going to get the spike plant at least, but he's at 30 HP. The paranoid comes through on top of that. He's trying to go for the individual play. The cloudburst is staying inside, now running away. And as it dissipates, he's now spotted with a double peek.
And there's the spray coming out, but they actually continue the push. Run it back was not canceled despite that early damage coming through. It wasn't enough to stop the ult pop by drone. That opens things up on the site and gives them this opportunity. But you've already got FaZe in position. Now there's a great curveball coming out with the ult, and that does see some knives set that direction. Now the spike's going to be planted in just a moment as Wardell dices apart babybay. Marved with another opener, as Marved has been doing time and time again on this retake. He's looking for a target on the site, but it's actually Corey who's trying to spot the head over top of the box. Now Rawkus has done the damage. Drone has one as the blaze walls intersect. They're like making a tic-tac-toe board on the site. There's the rolling thunder to allow them into, but they back off. They surrender control and they're going to play for the retake. That's the smart move from the defensive side of FaZe. A lot of targets though in this area. This is probably not going to work out so well for Subroza, so starts to change positions and ends up being able to pick off one, make it two as well as Subroza spins back. Great move. Corey is there for the ultimate punish as he drops into the smoke. And now there's a flash coming out. Shots coming through as well from Rawkus as Wardell wasn't anticipating the op being in that position. An empty mag results in a reload.
FaZe kind of respects him for it. So once you throw that smoke early towards mid side, then you try to push towards A, but it's going to be Corey that decides to go for the hero play, pushing himself towards the A main, but he's waited and greeted by an operator. And also Rawkus is greeted by a showstopper on the B side. So that's both sides weakened up. They're trying to get some sort of play moving forward. babybay is just rocket jumping across the site and gets the shotgun kill there. But nonetheless, that opens it up. The neural theft also allows FaZe Clan to know that all the players are towards the A side. But look at how much control you have now for TSM. It's just over at this point.
They're going to be moving towards B, at least early on. They've got a lot of presence in B main. Subroza uses the bomb bot to peek. Great paranoia, and that's a solid follow-up as well. Catches his blind teammate, or opponent, excuse me, going for the boom bot. Now they're going to try and use what they've got to get out. Good damage coming through as well as they spam through the smoke. Subroza gets one more before being taken down. Hayes doing as much as he can to buy time for Drone to get into position. And now it's all on to Rawkus. It's a 1-on-4. TSM looks to have secured the pistol in the second half.
Because not having a Sentinel, you can't really have just a Viper holding, especially with an ultimate into B side. You need to have players to rotate around, so you want to change your kit a little bit. But with an Omen towards B side, that's also good enough too.
That's great damage coming out early on as they make their way out on the site. Jump shots for Marved as well. This is problematic. TSM lost way too many resources while they come through on the push. Now Wardell, it takes the full magazine with the Ghost, but he'll get it back under control in time for one more and does significant damage to another target. Rawkus somehow finds himself now in a 1-on-3. This was looking really good for them, and it quickly fell apart. Rawkus, though, is still in this spot. Goes for the shadow step to get on the other side of Pillar. Spotted out, but it doesn't matter. 65 HP, 9 bullets, and no sound.
It opens up A, though. So they take ropes to A heaven, and they have to play passively towards TSM's site at A. A flashpoint to come out, and the first damage coming into ZachaREEE at 60. But Subroza falls towards the screen side on that rotate, so the anchor players have to come up big, and they do with 3 kills, and finally it's opened up. There's only 10 seconds remaining. They'll at least get the plant. But the rotation's going to come through. They've done enough damage, and now you have upper hand positioning, and there you go. Wardell with the verticality gets the kill onto ZachaREEE, who's looking for better positioning. Well, we talked about how it was low and not as impactful onto this map. Has to come up big here, but unfortunately will not, as Hazed gets the headshot, and the defuse comes in for Wardell.
Get there that quickly. Double-digit rounds for TSM, and they're going to try to punish with some aggressive play in mid. And Subroza does so. No surprise there. Subroza's done this in the past, especially on the last map, getting hyper-aggressive on that defensive side.
With map control on mid side, Wardell still committed for an aggressive angle, and Corey opens it up.
Drone gonna have a couple of bodies dropping in front of him. Only able to line up one. That puts everything on Cutler. Cutler actually steps up, finds 2 kills with just a Spectre.
But he's creeping up towards the elbow side. Here's the footsteps moving forward. Will get that first kill, trying to spray onto that second. That actually could have been 2 big kills.
12 straight rounds to win that game.
Yeah.
That's just absurd. So no game is ever truly over, and we've seen more than our fair share of impressive comebacks. Hazed is in the backside of sight, spotted by the ult that gives babybay the easy rocket kill onto his opponent, and things are starting to heat up over on the B site. Cutler's still here in position. There's the ult getting popped. That neural theft will give away the position here of Cutler, who's really just trying to slow things down as much as possible. Fault lines and flashes to keep them locked on site. The knives coming out from Wardell, but they've escaped into B main. With the smokes down, that does leave the player on site kind of alone. And that'll be a quick shot that comes out from Wardell as the knives come through. They've now brought it down to just 1. The promise has disappeared. It's all up to Marved. He has to come through this smoke to try and take that battle, but Wardell is watching it. You've got Cypher in this position. The problem is Subroza's push. That's going to make it a lot harder. That's going to force them to move faster. Now, because of that kill coming through from B main, they decide to move into Heaven a little bit more. And this is an interesting play. Hazed actually pops the ult into Heaven, or into Ropes, excuse me, and now has the backstab on them. So,
wow.
Despite being in a position to potentially put a little bit more hurt on FaZe, decides to go for an audible and move into a better spot. Now, they do end up going back towards A, but not in the manner that we expected. Cutler has just dropped the spike behind their own lines, not behind enemy lines. But they've still got one on the site that they have to contend with. Now, babybay drops out of Heaven, still gets hit by the fault line midair.
And they also have 2 smokes available from Hazed. So they're going to try attempt this retake, and already 1 has been smoked out. So ZachaREEE has to force his hand out by pushing out of the smoke. They get 2 kills. It's on at the 1 versus 1, and babybay saves it. But that's it. TSM still have 5 rounds to work with to get that money right? So that forced buy, I think it's totally fine here for TSM. A double kill from Cutler. That's going to make things even easier to justify the buy here for TSM in here.
Wardell waiting around the corner with the judge. That's a little bit tough. Let's see what they can do, though. Wardell's in position with that shotgun. babybay is about to come around the corner. The boom bot will go in first. That's actually from the defensive side. Paint shells go out. I love the move. babybay actually gets into Ropes, but you still have to get 1 across because that's the spike carrier. If that was the spike carrier, that would have been huge. There was an opening there towards the B site, but it looks like it's going to be curtains for FaZe, as now there's nothing left for babybay to work with. The Rolling Thunder helps secure things. TSM take the series.